Hey y'all, it's your girl, You Are Worthy, with my little puffball, coming to you from my favorite place, the car. I haven't done a video in about a week or so. I was supposed to be doing some giveaways, but we can't follow simple directions. Y'all was supposed to like, post, share, comment, all that good stuff. So we gonna try it again. Maybe we can get a couple winners this week for that free copy of my book, He Bruised But Not Broken, and a t-shirt while supplies last. Maybe we'll do two. But anyway, today's video is going to be about parenthood and depression. All right. So I decided to do this video because it's something that's close to my heart. I'm a mother of one. He's about to be 11. Yay. And I come from a large family. I have 5 sisters. My 5 sisters, they've been blessed with more than one. Only me, one. But that's okay. I wanted to talk about depression and parenthood. I was talking to one of my siblings, and she was talking about how, it, when we are parents, we don't have a choice. We have to be prepared to be a parent 365 days a year. If we don't feel good, if we're sick, if we're depressed, if we're just going through some hard times, we still have to provide for our children. And it was an issue. It was a conversation that I thought that maybe I should touch bases on with my moment of worth. So here it goes, my moment of worth. I have to always say this: I am not a mental health professional. I do work in the mental health field. However, I am not a clinician. Okay, so these are my thoughts, my experiences, and just based off of things that I've talked with other parents and other people who are battling depression. So mental health is something that is dear to my heart because it is something that I've struggled with. Because I work in the field and because I have several people who are close to me, they deal with the situation as well. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is when I went through my depression, and after it was during the breakdown of my marriage, and how my son actually saw me go through that transition, and I really, really, really had a hard time dealing with it. It hurt me so much, not necessarily because I was ashamed. It hurt me because, well, you know what? I think ashamed is a good word to use. It hurt me because I was ashamed that he saw me like that. My son had, most of the time, our children look at us as these strong people, these people who, like, mommy is superwoman or daddy is superman. But when we go through our bouts of depression, or when we go through our phases where we're low, they end up seeing a side of us that they aren't particularly privy to in other cases. So I wanted to talk about how it is how we I'm sorry, y'all. It's hot in this car. But I wanted to talk about how we should really, if you are dealing with mental illness, how it affects the children even more when they don't know what's going on. And I really can't tell you what age you should be talking to your children about mental illness about, but I guess you should use your own discretion. I ended up talking to my son about mental illness. I think he was about 7 when we first had the first conversation. And when we had the conversation, I was telling him, he wanted to know, what happened was I was in the bed a lot. I was sleeping a lot. So I would get up, I would make his meals, I would check his homework, and then I would go and get in my bed. You know what I'm saying? And he would come to my bedside each day, and he'd be like, "Mommy, are you still sick today? Are you sick today?" It's something snapped inside of me when that happened, because it was like, oh my gosh, my baby is watching me, deteriorate in this bed. So I actually took him out on a date that day. And I got up and I told him, I was like, son, do you know what mental illness is? And he said, of course, at that age, many probably won't know. So I said, do you know what mental illness is? He told me he didn't. And so I said, well, I explained to him to the best of my knowledge. I just was like, sometimes mommy goes through times where she's really depressed or where she's really sad, where she wants to smile, but she just can't figure out how to because so many things are happening. And because of that, she wants to sleep or she wants to be alone. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with that, or I'm sorry that you actually saw that from me, but I'm going to try to do better. And I know it's not your job to understand, but I just want you to know that mommy wants to be a good mother to you, but sometimes it's just hard. And surprisingly, he was very, very, very receptive of it. And he told me that and I asked him, any questions, and he's always been very open and it had such a great dialogue with me. But I found that from that moment, from that day forward, he was actually really interested in my moods. He would, mommy, are you feeling very well today? Did you have a good sleep? Because I have a lot of trouble sleeping at night. And it helped me so much to know that he understood, so much so that one day we were out shopping, and I think I've shared this conversation with a couple of my friends, right? So we were out shopping, and I had a migraine. I suffer from really bad migraines. So we were out shopping, and I had a migraine, and his friend had noticed. He said, Miss Jonata, you really don't look like you feel very well. And I was like, my head hurts. And he said, I said, I don't, baby. My head hurts. So my son pulled him to the side, and I hear my son whispering to him, don't worry, it's because of the mental illness. It'll be okay. And I can laugh about this because to me, it showed me how great of a understanding he had. He equates my mental illness with other illnesses that I have, which they have been proven that, when I'm dealing with a lot of stress, that my migraines are a lot worse and they do come more frequent. But it just shows you how your children are watching, and if they're watching and they don't know what's going on, they can kind of think that it's something they've done wrong or something. They can internalize that. So I encourage you to have that conversation, that open dialogue with your children, and see what they think about mental illness and depression, and you'd be surprised because it's so many of our kids are dealing with bouts of depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety at younger ages, and a couple of kids have committed suicide, 6, 8, 10, and I'm just like, I don't understand. It's so crazy that these children are having to feel the weight of the world on their shoulders. And my mom actually, after reading my book, she confided in me and told me about her bouts with depression and anxiety and stuff. And it actually made me feel, it gave me solace because I felt like I was alone in that feat. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand that some of the same issues that plagued me or plagued my childhood and my siblings' childhoods plagued hers. And it actually transcended upon her parenting, and it made a lot of sense once she told me the things that she told me. So I know in one of my other videos I talked about, how we need to get out of this mindset of what happens in my house stays in my house, because our children are suffering from this. We really need to have an open dialogue with our children. And one of those issues that really needs to be talked about is mental health awareness. So I hope this helps you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. I hope you're buying the book. I hope you've read the book. Share your thoughts about whether or not you like the book. Hey, tell me if you didn't like the book. Just give me some feedback. But anyway, this is your girl. You are worthy.